Good morning. Welcome everybody to our Ekahau webinar, which is going to focus on high-capacity Wi-Fi planning. My name's Craig Charles. I'm the sales manager at Open Reality. The lines are on mute, or if anyone's got any questions during the presentation, please feel free to use the chat box, and we're going to have a Q&A at the end of the session. Yeah, so in terms of the agenda for today, so I'm just doing a quick introduction for Open Reality for you guys that don't know us, and then we're going to pass over to the guys at Ekahau who are going to be covering the high-capacity planning presentation, and then we're going to do a bit on the end covering the latest features in version 9. And like I said, we're then going to do the Q&A. So Open Reality, I think we've got a mix of customers that know us and customers that don't, but for those who don't, we are the sole distributor in the UK for Ekahau. And actually myself and Ekahau are sharing something in common at the moment, so we're both celebrating our 10-year anniversary with Open Reality. So I've seen over the sort of 10 years, you know, how much the kind of the product and the brand is developed.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Jussi, sorry guys, can you put your line on mute?
Yeah, we were just clapping for the anniversary. Sorry about that.
All right. I couldn't quite make it out. So yeah, but yeah, certainly 2016 for us has been a really good year. I think sales of the software, we're looking at year-on-year growth of in excess of 60%. And like I said, yeah, over the 10 years, the sort of the development that's gone into the product and the brand has been excellent. One of the things that's been really popular the last couple of years is the accredited training courses, and I think we've got a few people on there here today that've been on them. Probably at the end of the presentation, Carlos is going to cover some of the dates that we've got for 2017, but yeah, we're looking at kind of in excess of 100 people we've trained up on accredited courses this year. And sort of testament to the product's popularity is this webinar actually, and these slides were put together a couple of days ago. I think as of this morning we have close to 700 people registered for this event, which is an amazing number. So all in all, things are going really well. For those of you guys don't know, this is our Ekahau team. So existing customers, you'll probably know Steve and Matt really well. Jack's a fairly new addition to our team, and Carlos is our technical specialist. So for you guys that have had one-to-one demos, you'll probably be familiar with Carlos. So this team kind of focuses mainly on our kind of like IT, system integrator, reseller business. There are other account managers which you guys might know who focus on some of the end user accounts. So yeah, if you guys, we'll include some contact information at the end. Some of you have been on the web demos before, you'll probably know or have heard from Jussi and Mikko before, but these are the guys that are doing the presentation today. So that's pretty much covered what I want to. So if there's any questions, go onto the Open Reality website, or please contact your relevant account managers. And I will now pass over to Jussi to do the presentation.
All right, it's going good. Okay, so yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Much appreciated. Thanks Open Reality guys for the intro and for setting the whole thing up. So as stated previously, we very much like working with the Open Reality chaps. They've done a fantastic work across the board, tons of Ekahau expertise in-house there as well, and we love. We are based in Helsinki, Finland, but we love coming down to London as well, right, Mikko? So, if any of the customers need us on site, that's definitely not impossible.
Yeah, just give us an excuse to come over there.
All right. Anyways, today we're going to talk about Wi-Fi capacity planning and take a quick look at the Ekahau Site Survey 9.0 while at it. So we're still a few months out from the release, but why not take a look at where we are so far? Anyways, yeah, as stated before, we love working with the Open Reality guys, and this is not just to get us in the webinar. We really do enjoy the relationship. So you guys are in very good hands if you're in the UK. If you're dialing in from outside of the UK, we have a pretty good distribution network across Europe as well. And yeah. All right, this is us from the Ekahau side. I'm Jussi. That's my old title, which I apparently haven't updated. But yeah, I do all kinds of janitorial duties here at Ekahau. Been here for ages, and with me I have Mikko.
Hi guys, so yeah, I'm running brand management team here at Ekahau. Been here like at Ekahau 12 years soon, so it's kind of cool what we do and I really love what we do and so on. Yeah.
Cool. I was gonna edit your title, but I'll skip that. Sorry about also demoting you, Mr. Director these days. He's dancing his celebratory director dance as we speak. Anyways, that's me from our company party 10 or so years ago, and that's Mikko. So that's.
Nice pictures. So
yeah.
Where did you find those this time?
Actually, our marketing lady found those from the internet. You've lost some weight since that.
Sure that, yes. I've been exercising quite a lot.
Yeah, I can tell. You also lost some of your muscles though, but
yes.
That's, yeah, you've got to stop that endurance training. Anyways, if you're not on Twitter already and you're interested in Wi-Fi, go on Twitter, follow us, and or see who we follow. All the latest and greatest Wi-Fi information is there. The white papers, videos, conferences, all the discussion is there. Okay. Quickly about Ekahau, we believe we are these days the market leader in Wi-Fi network design tools. So we do site survey tools, planning tools, spectrum analyzers, stuff like that. We're a small company with R&D in Helsinki, Finland, distribution network globally, all that fun stuff. And then we do different kinds of products. Won't take too much of your time, but I'll say this. So. Our flagship product is the Site Survey Pro and 3D Planner, which runs on Windows, notebooks, tablets, desktops, what have you. And it also these days runs on Mac. That's still on beta, but it's there available from our website, as well as the Windows versions. We also carry a spectrum analyzer that nicely integrates with the Site Survey Pro tool as well. So during your survey, you'll be also gathering spectrum data. And then we have an Android app for spot checking problematic spots or seeing quickly, does my network work overall or not, and if not, what fails. These kind of things. So that's the toolkit. What's happened with us recently? In the last year or so, we released a few products. We brought in 8.0, which had the automatic wall wizard or wall drawing wizard called WOW, wall outlining wizard. And we released 8.1 with different kinds of improvements, including importing PDF drawings. We released 8.5, where most notably we brought in spectrum analyzer integration and what we call real-time frequency monitor, or RTFM. Bunch of other features there as well, and right now we are at 8.6, 8.6.2 actually. So that's very useful release in case, for example, you're using Windows OS with the most modern laptops. Now the user interface of the tool actually automatically scales, so that if you have a high resolution display, it doesn't look tiny. The text is scaled automatically and stuff like that. All right. And that's like in the last 2.5 years, I just counted this, we've done something like 600 improvements to the product, so it pays off to keep your support up to date. And if you're in the UK, it pays off to contact your Open Reality Chats, our exclusive distributor there, and get your support contract valid. All right. Then there's in terms of customers and partners, roughly 100 out of the Fortune 500 use Ekahau, so you're not alone. There's some here in terms of, for example, the biggest systems integrators globally and in the US use us, as do network owners, things like that. And then we work very closely with the Cisco's, Arubas, Ruckuses, all the Wi-Fi infrastructure vendors, in fact. All right, a couple of words before we go to the actual subject is about our education and training options, which the Open Reality guys touched earlier real quickly. And I'll do the same. So if you go to ekahau.com/training, there's a ton of free stuff there for you to use, like training videos, how-tos, best practices, webinar recordings, and this one will be there as well. So definitely material worth checking. Then we do one-to-one webinars, for example, especially if you're in the pre-sales phase and kind of debating whether to, use competing products or us. Just hit up Nick or Jerry. That's nick@ekahau.com and jerry@ekahau.com, and ask them to give you a 1-hour show and tell on how the product actually works, and they'll be happy to. And then we have our Ekahau Certified Survey Engineer, or the ECSC certification, done by the absolute greatest Wi-Fi minds, the brightest Wi-Fi minds in the industry, including Keith Parsons, CWNE #3, founder of Wireless LAN Professionals, and Devin Aiken, CWNE #1, who we also like to call the godfather of Wi-Fi. There's also, we have tons of other great trainers like Blake Croney, Fernie Munoz, Rene Friedemann. So, the best of the best in terms of Wi-Fi give our classroom trainings. It's a 4-day training. The Open Reality guys host these for us in the UK, and they've been hugely successful. More information on our website or on the Open Reality website. And then there's the Ekahau Master Certification. So this is a very small group of people chosen annually. If you're a very heavy user of Ekahau and you're a Wi-Fi expert, then you might want to apply for Ekahau Master. So this is a group of people that we discuss with, very closely in terms of upcoming products, upcoming versions, things like that. And we also, just a couple of months ago, we took this group to Iceland, in the middle of nowhere, into a luxury hotel in Iceland to, discuss future direction of Wi-Fi, discuss the future direction of Ekahau, things like that. Okay, so Carlos, did we already have the poll of who was here last time? Did we have the results?
That's mainly because we haven't launched it, so let's launch that now. So we've got one called "Have you attended the Ekahau webinar before?" So really just to get an idea of our audience and who's first-time viewer and who's joining us again. So guys, if you could answer the poll questions that come up, it'd really be helping us, because it just allows us to focus on the information that we get to you after today. So let's just let that run for a couple of seconds. And fantastic. I can see that things are almost there. So let's stop that one and let's have a look at, so 59% of people are saying that they've attended before, 41% haven't. So guys, thank you very much. That we'll make sure we get the relevant information across to you after today. And Jussi, back to you.
Thank you, Carlos. Should we launch another poll about what kind of tools people use as well?
Yes, of course we can. So again, guys, just to allow us to see what you guys are using. So we've got just another poll just to see who's using Ekahau and who's not. And again, it just allows us to see what information that we need to send to you after today. So don't worry, if you're using a mixture of solutions, to still put yes, you're using Ekahau. So fantastic. It looks as though about 74% of people are using Ekahau. So about a quarter of our audience today are either new or haven't used the solution before. So let's close that poll.
Thank you. And maybe one more related to this one.
No, that's all I've got for the time being, apart from the one for ECSCs a bit later. So
all right.
If you don't, let's pause that one for now.
That's cool. Okay. Can you still see my screen?
We can, yep.
Perfect. All right. So this is what it's about today. One option when you're designing Wi-Fi is this. So, you spend minimal amount of time gathering the requirements of the network and planning and validation, but then you waste maximal amount of time troubleshooting the Wi-Fi network. I'm sure this rings the bell for many of you. And we want to avoid that, and this is rather what we like, you and us to do. It's, spend a lot of, or spend some time defining the network requirements properly and designing the network so that, we can take it easy in the long term. Because if a lot of Wi-Fi administrators say that if I have designed the network and I know I've made a sound design, it's usually a client problem if the network has a problem. So it just makes troubleshooting so much easier and so much less. Anyways, this happened previously on Ekahau Site Survey webinar. This happened like 6 months ago, something like that, when we had our previous webinar. We talked about how setting up a Wi-Fi network is kind of like setting up a bar, where in a bar you have bartender and customers and wine. With Wi-Fi networks you have an access point, and then you have client devices. And while the goal of the bartender is to get wine from the bottle to the glass, our goal is to get data from the AP to the client devices. So kind of similar things. And then we talked about what's high capacity and what's not. This definitely is high capacity. The typical high capacity telltale signs are there. Tons of clients, high data demand, and lots of APs. And then we talked about why this guy is unhappy. Remember that. It's kind of summarized many of the Wi-Fi issues, because these folks here are getting high data rates, so they have direct access to the bartender, while these two chaps here are increasing the noise level, and that's why this guy here has low signal strength and very low SNR. And then we talked about capacity calculations, involving, you need to understand the number of client devices, the distribution of clients, whether they are drinking wine or shots or beer, meaning what kind of applications are they running over Wi-Fi. And then, of course, client type is of importance as well. Is it a single stream client, multi-stream client, 802.11n or AC, things like that. And we summarized last week's presentations in a few things. First of all, we need to maximize airtime in the network by minimizing the number of SSIDs, preferring 5 gig, things like that. Then we need to, related to that, we need to ensure high data rates, and there's, certain rules of thumb to ensure that. And then we need to calculate the need for capacity, and there's certain methods you can do there as well. And that leads us to today's topic, already 25 minutes past the hour, but we're getting there. So the problems with current capacity planners and auto planners, to some extent including ours, to be honest, is first of all, whatever method you are using to increase capacity in the network or do high capacity, overpopulation of APs is a common problem, and adding APs often doesn't help, it actually hurts the network. So don't do that. Do what Batman does, don't do what Robin does. Don't do the apprentice mistake of adding more APs after one another. You'll run into CCI or code channel interference. And another problem that in capacity planning you run into is what's called hallway phi. So placing APs in hallways only, causing massive amounts of CCI or code channel interference. So try to avoid hallways, try to avoid this kind of designs where all the APs are in the hallways, and put them in rooms instead. Then one thing is you need to be disabling some of the 2.4 gigahertz radios if you're doing high capacity, given that in a typical high capacity network, the APs are so close to one another that there just isn't enough available channels on 2.4 unless you start disabling them. If you don't, then you run again into massive amounts of code channel interference. But none of the capacity planners out there do that automatically. None of the capacity planners or auto planners out there automatically disable 2.4 gigahertz radios. None of them really know how to, in a smart way, avoid overpopulation of APs. And then, of course, these days, some of the access points out there support dual 5 gigahertz. for example, the Cisco 3800s, and I believe Ekahau also has a dual 5 capable AP, right, Mikko?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to take advantage of that if possible as well. So this is just to underline that statement. Some of the APs can be in dual 2, 4, 5 mode. Some of them can be dual 5, what have you. It's called a flexible radio assignment with Cisco. And then what our current capacity planner, for example, does not support is some areas in a building are higher capacity than others. So in our current version, you need to plan for you know, evenly distributed capacity across the building, and we wanted to overcome that. So just to summarize, those are some of the challenges with current AutoPlanners, capacity planners out there. And what are we doing about it then? What are we bringing in 9.0? First of all, we allow the user to define normal areas versus high capacity areas separately. So you can punch in how many client devices will there be in different areas. The areas can overlap, things like that. And that's actually an actual sketch by our UI designer. So those are from our intranet. That's a spec for the developer. Then we have a completely rewritten AP placement algorithm. And we've been doing this for more than a year now. We have two of the brightest Wi-Fi minds at the office just doing this. So we wanted to, first of all, avoid AP overpopulation so that we actually maximize the airtime and stop adding APs unless it's necessary. And our rewritten AP placement algorithm avoids hallway placement. It avoids placing APs in restrooms or elevator shafts without even marking restrooms and elevator shafts separately on the map. So it has built-in intelligence about the building structure. And we have completely rewritten our channel allocation algorithm, which now automatically can disable those unnecessary 2.4 GHz radios, and it supports dual 5 GHz as well. We also made our capacity planner more accurate, so we'll be bringing in settings for minimum data rate, band steering, number of SSIDs, things like that, and RTS, CTS as well. So to summarize, what we call our AutoPlanner version 2.0, which will be in ESS 9.0, will be a lot better in a lot of ways. So how does it work? What do you say we take a look at where we are today? Mikko, any common questions for now?
So far the common question has been about the iOS support. Are we planning to do anything for iOS? So what I've been telling is that yes, we are planning to do something for iOS, but it's not public at the. What we're actually planning to do is not public. Yes, so of course something.
Exactly. So we are not in this public webinar. We are not announcing anything about our non-public feature, except that we are doing something.
Yes, and I'm slightly horrified that what you're actually going to be presenting going forward on your presentation. I haven't checked your slides, so I hope you're not going to reveal our whole roadmap for the
No, I was planning to do that at the Wireless LAN Pros next February, but you'll be there, so you can take my mouth before the presentation.
I will punch you before you get there.
You would punch me regardless. Anyways, yeah. So something's definitely coming next year for iOS as well. Anyways, where were we? We were in the demo. So let me pause the screen sharing for a while. Open up Ekahau Site Survey. And hit. Can you guys still see my screen? Carlos?
Certainly can.
Excellent. Are we still on the air? I guess we are.
Definitely so, yeah.
All right. And you can see ESS running, correct?
So far.
Good. What we're going to do is we're going to make a really simple plan just to demonstrate the AutoPlanner in Ekahau Site Survey 9.0. So this is a development copy. So you know something goes south, it's not a released product, so you know, and anything can go south, as we know from past experience. Anyways, for those of you that haven't been there or haven't recently used our tool, I'm gonna load in a random CAD floor plan. So in CAD format, DWG, I guess this was. So this was something I just a public map that I was able to grab from the internet, and usually the CAD maps look like this. This is the preview of the CAD file. On the right-hand side, we have the map preview. And what we actually want to do is make this a little cleaner. I want to get rid of the, you know, the margins, the text, things like that. So up here in the top right-hand side corner, I don't know if, you know, many of you have noticed this, but there's the layout selector for the CAD drawing. So clicking that allows you to see what kind of views, different layouts have been stored in this CAD file by the architect. So this is the one we're using right now, but what I want to do is I actually want to take the cleaner layout, this one, to use, so that, you know, I just want to work with a cleaner plan. So I'm going to select that, and the tool is going to reload the layers of that particular map, and that looks much better. And bottom right corner, you can see that we are automatically detecting the scale, and on the left-hand side we have the layers of the drawing. This is already in ESS 8 starting 8.5 at least. 8.0 brought the CAD wizard already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the main layers, such as doors, which ESS automatically closes, and I'm going to select an attenuating material for the doors, like hollow wood door there. Then I'm going to take glass, which means glass, obviously. I'm going to put in interior window for that material, and don't worry, you can edit these materials after the fact if you know, happen to choose the wrong one or whatever. Then I'm going to take drywall for the main walls, and yeah, that looks already pretty good. So the areas highlighted with either dark black color or dark blue have already been assigned a material. So that looks actually decent. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit import, and instead of us drawing all of the walls on the building, the wall outlining wizard automatically detects the walls. It takes a while to calculate, as it simplifies the building structure as well automatically. So here we go. That's decent. Looks pretty good. We have all the walls, all the doors, everything in place. And then we could start planning, of course, manually, just like before. So take an AP and just start dropping those on the map. That's certainly possible. I'm going to do Cisco 3800 because I just love those new APs. So you can see how the signal coverage is calculated for the APs I placed manually. That's pretty standard stuff. And you can see, and this is exactly why you should avoid hallway 5 for the most parts, is if you place all the APs in the corridor, they will travel, you know, the signals will go very, very far, and then eventually you will run out of channels and cause co-channel interference. So that's manual planning, and that's all, you know, we all know how that works. So let's actually get to the AutoPlanner. And the same area tool is still there, but it now just works a bit differently. When you click the area tool, first of all, you can select what kind of coverage you want for this area. So we want to do VoIP coverage, which is pretty standard thing. So let's just do that, and I'm going to draw an area. Let's say everywhere in the building we need VoIP coverage. So let's just say there's no high capacity requirement for the entire building, but just for some of the areas. But in the entire building, we want VoIP grade coverage, which you know, makes 67 dB signal strength, things like that. Okay, so there we have that. Let me clean out the APs. All right, so there we have that. And now what we are going to do is we're going to draw another area. We have these 3 conference rooms or lecture halls in this building. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark all of those 3 with just one shot. There we go. And in total, in those 3 lecture halls, we are expecting 1,000 devices, actually. So gonna hit that, and we're expecting by default the tool calculates a 50-50 split between laptops and smartphones, and that's a pretty typical, for example, in a lecture hall environment. So we're just going to leave it at that, but of course, Mikko, I don't know if I'm going to break it, but can I click capacity to show the advanced capacity dialog? Let's try it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Oops, blue screen. No blue screen. So there you can see that because I put 1,000, so it put automatically 500 laptops, 500 smartphones, and these of course can then be edited. You know, you can change the device types and distribution of devices and things like that. That's just to show that's how it works. All right, and then it's time to ask the AutoPlanner to calculate the actual plan. So again, we wanted to use Cisco APs here, so we're going to put Cisco 3800 operating in 2.4 and 5 gigahertz mode. We'll optimize the coverage for 5 gig. Maybe we could drop the 2.4 transmit power as well, but in this case we don't necessarily need to. And let's free up all the channels for the AutoPlanner. And just to say, this is not the finalized channel planner dialog, for example. So we can look at the sketch how it's going to look like. For example, we will be enabling, you know, choosing the 5 gigahertz channels, each one separately, and things like that. So we'll take a look at the sketch of the actual how this dialog will look like in 9.0 later. It just hasn't been implemented yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit create plan and see what happens. Takes a while to calculate. Gives you a dialog, and there we go. So what happens here is the plan has been made, and observe, let me take out the walls so we can see the areas better. This area number 2 here that we created, remember, that has significantly more APs than the areas without capacity requirement, yet still it has ideal coverage everywhere for 5 gig. It just has more APs assigned on the small area. And as you can tell, many of the 2.4 gigahertz radios have been disabled. You can see off here on the radios. And also the tool has, for the most part, avoided hallway PHY as well. So the APs are rather placed in the rooms for the most part, and not so much in the hallways. So that's kind of how the new planner works. More APs where more capacity is needed, disable 2.4 gigahertz radios, even utilize dual 5 gigahertz. That will be an option later as well. So that's just one of the things. And we really put a lot of effort in the usability part as well. You saw that it's now much easier to make the plan compared to the previous capacity planning user interface. And we will be bringing out improvements also to the capacity analysis heat maps and things like that too, but more about that later. Maybe if we take a quick look on the snapshots from our development board. Here's what the AutoPlanner dialog will roughly look like. This is again a direct snapshot from our development intranet. So you define the areas. What's new and relevant about this is really the ability to individually select channels on 5 gigahertz and also define the minimum data rate, define band steering percentage between 2, 4, and 5, the number of SSIDs, things like that, just so that we can more easily, more quickly calculate those things. And this dialog you already saw. And what else should we promise for 9.0, Mikko, besides the new AutoPlanner, capacity planner? Should we?
What else? What have you been telling so far?
You haven't been paying attention.
Not at all.
It's like any discussion I have with you now, isn't it? Sorry, I didn't pay any attention. Have you seen the movie Big Lebowski?
Yes.
Where the police officer gives a lot of wrath to Lebowski, and then after 10 minutes he's like, oh, sorry, I wasn't paying any attention. That's exactly how we do as well.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing on this webinar.
Guys, there's a really good question that's being repeated quite a lot that might be worth bringing in at this point. It's all to do around Mac, Apple Mac and the NIC 300. So obviously, are there plans to provide drivers for the NIC 300s for Apple Mac?
This guy was reading our minds. That's exactly what we were coming to as well. So
No.
no, no, we won't support.
Yes, no, which one?
I don't know how much can we tell. Oh, what? Yeah, it's public webinar. Yes, no. Anyway, so all we can say is yes, Mac will come out of beta, or is planned to come out of beta in 9.0 as well. So that also means that we will have an adapter that will be working really good with Mac. Is that fair to say, Mikko?
That is fair to say, yes.
Yeah.
How about the NIC 300 adapter?
No comments.
I'll just, no.
So what we're saying, guys, is watch this space in the new year.
Watch this space on February 21st. I can't give you any...
February 21st.
Yeah. And be there at the WLAN Pros US conference on February 21st, because that's where this is planned to happen, unless stuff hits the fan and we delay it and then we come up with a lame excuse speaker slot there on some other topic, such as Mikko's sumo wrestling and my bunny ears.
Fantastic. So I think you're going to webcast that, aren't you? So what we'll do is we'll make sure that we republish that for anybody that wants to attend.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we should do. But really, I know we have only used 45 minutes, but really that's all we have to say about 9.0. And now we could take a couple of questions. And actually, this just in from our sales director. We will also be at, because this is a European webinar, we will also be launching this at Cisco Live Berlin. So Cisco Live Berlin is also happening on February 21st and from there on out. So if you happen to be around, come stop by at the Ekahau booth, and we will be hosting some kind of a launch party there as well. So in case you're around, let our sales director know. Anyways, yeah, that's most we have for now. Any common questions still that should be answered? Any words from Open Reality?
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, anybody that obviously hasn't seen Ekahau before, but obviously would like a more detailed one-to-one, I know Jussi mentioned that obviously there are a couple of guys within Ekahau that can do that. It's one of the things that I do day in and day out. So do please put it in the chat box, in the questions, if you would like to see a one-to-one, if you haven't seen Ekahau before, or if you've got a much older version and haven't seen the latest features. I'd be very happy to run something that's much more interactive, and obviously we can tailor something that allows you to see exactly what you want to see. In terms of questions, there's lots around the high capacity, but Mikko, is there anything that you specifically want to reiterate? Because I realize you're going through the questions in a lot more detail than we are.
Yeah, just going through the list, there's actually quite a lot of them. No, nothing for now. I could bring this up separately. Hold on. So let me read that through. Give me a sec.
All right, and yeah, just to reiterate what Carlos said, hashtag Carlos Demo King, definitely hit him up. If you're in the UK, there's no better person than Carlos to give you a demo and talk through the tool. If you're outside the UK, just hit us up or our distributors, and we'll take care of it for sure. We saved 15 minutes, so it looks like Ekahau Site Survey 9.0 might finish 15 minutes early.
Good stuff. Well, anything that in terms of questions, we will take offline, and obviously we'll get answers to you. There's lots of individual questions, which is why I think Mikko's struggling to come up with common questions. I mean, for instance, you see there's lots of things like when setting the high density settings for lecture theatres, you still had VoIP selected even though it was for laptops and smartphones. Was this correct? So probably a little bit more detail on how we assign different applications would probably be good to reiterate at this stage.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a good question. There's two things that Ekahau Site Survey takes into account when doing the plan. First one is what we call coverage requirement. So that's for example, VoIP requires a certain level of coverage, and that's why you see VoIP there, even regardless of your application. And that's kind of the primary step in capacity planning, or in any Wi-Fi planning, is ensure that you have decent coverage and decent amount of AP overlap. And then after that, we start looking at what kind of applications are run in how many devices, things like that. And that's where the number of devices and the applications come in again. And that's where you might, run into VoIP 2 times. First, when we're doing the coverage planning, and secondly, when we're doing the capacity planning. But it's true in a sense that we could actually make it more intuitive user interface-wise as well, if this causes confusion. Mikko had something to add.
No, I actually just wanted to bring up one question from Greg Martin about the stadium deployments, whether they have this, what are these called, this?
Inclining floors or
exactly.
Elevated floors, what have you.
Elevated floors. So are we going to be supporting those? We'll see. We'll see. It is a difficult thing, especially for the algorithm itself, and especially for the UI. But it's being asked more and more, so of course we probably need to do something about it. So I would say for now, just keep on bringing those or requesting those.
Exactly. So for now, there's no perfect solution for that in our tool doing the inclined floor, so you have to work your way around it.
How about single-channel architecture support with the capacity planner?
Yeah. We decided to keep it, right?
That is true.
I remember you Skyping me from your. You were doing a meeting with the development guys regarding the UI, and then you Skyped me. Do we still need SCA or single-channel?
You don't reply within 5 seconds. It's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Did I? Yeah. So we'll keep single-channel architecture still there in the new capacity planner. Good question, excellent question. And kudos to Mickey, Meru Mitch. I know he's still asleep, but kudos to him still.
Does this version work with Windows 10? It sure does.
Yeah, we do Windows 10, 64-bit, we even do Mac in beta. Who else does that? Nobody.
Hey, good question. Does Ekahau support BLE design for location tracking?
Do we support BLE design for location tracking? I know people have worked around it, right? Go on Twitter to find out how. But we don't officially support it yet. But let us know how exactly it should work. Let's actually have a conference call with this guy who was asking for it. If you're up for it, email Jussi@ekahau.com, that's JUSSI@ekahau.com, or tweet me, and we'll set up a call and ask what exactly it is that you would need.
Yeah, so Robert leaves, send us an email.
Yeah. Cool. Great question. Anything else?
Hold on.
Well, while Mikko's looking for another question, it's probably worth reiterating the address where if somebody has an idea for a function within Ekahau or new APs, the address of where to request obviously that function, because I know you guys always welcome anything that supports our customers in the field.
Yeah, exactly. Not that we ever implement anything that's asked, but we gladly take those. Anyways, yeah, of course. Our director of product management, Mikko, would be happy to receive those. So Mikko, M-I-K-K-O @ekahau.com. That's M-I-K-K-O @ekahau.com.
And what was that? I'm supposed to be expecting
antenna requests, feature requests, things like that. Yeah, you put me under the bus in the last presentation, so it was my turn.
Okay. Why has the PDF option been removed when exporting a report? We didn't expect anyone to actually use it, so we took it off. we got quite a lot of feedback that you guys were idiots, so we brought it back. Just this Tuesday we released a new ESS version 8.62 and it's back again.
So PDF is back for reports. Good question though. Just open your ESS and check for updates. It will automatically check for updates, update your tool, and PDF is back.
Mark Pitcher is asking about, is it possible to define areas where APs cannot be placed? Yes, it is possible by defining exclusion areas.
Yeah, exactly. So draw another coverage area on top of a coverage area.
On the current release.
On the current release.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
You like it that way. So we will bring the tool back.
Maybe, if you complain enough.
Come on.
Anyways.
All right.
Any other questions?
Are Meraki APs and antennas supported in Planner stage 2?
Meraki? Yeah, sure. All of them, right?
Yeah. I'm not absolutely sure because they keep on bringing more and more APs and antennas all the time. It's pretty difficult to follow all the latest. So
yeah.
As soon as we get the patterns, we sure add them to the ESS.
Yeah. But the goal is to, Cisco, Meraki, Aruba, Aerohive, you name it, they are all there. And if something's not there, let us know at mikko@ekahau.com, and we'll be sure to add them.
When is ESS 9.0 being released?
February 21st.
Yes, let's still discuss about that.
Yeah, okay. We're planning on releasing it February 21st.
Yeah. The end of February. So give us some.
Oh, you're still starting to sleep, man.
Any profiles for Ubiquiti? Yes, we do have some APs for Ubiquiti, maybe not all of them.
How do you pronounce
There's a specific Ubiquiti that obviously you'd like to see that isn't in the list. Again, please do let us know, either listed in the chat client and we'll obviously respond to that, or do feel free to email Mikko directly with any model numbers specifically that you'd like to see.
Dave Crow is asking for, is it possible to try the current capacity or the current version we have for the high capacity planning? Right now it's not available for beta, but I believe, yes, it's going to be available for beta, but I can't promise when. Hopefully late December we could actually give it out for beta. We'll see, I can't promise that.
Cool.
Right, guys, I think the problem we're going to have is the fact that the questions are coming thick and fast. So guys, please do keep those coming. But I think before we run out of the hour, it'd be good to obviously just show the ECSE dates and obviously just do that last poll of who would like more information on those. So guys, do keep your questions coming. We will answer those offline. We'll make sure that we get answers to every one of you. I'm just aware that obviously for those that have only got an hour today, let's not make sure that you miss out on this last part. So, Jussi, thank you for sending back the screen. Can you see that okay?
We sure can, sir.
Okay, so we've got the next two courses in January. It's the first for 2017. It's the 24th to the 27th of January. So that's going to be held in Oxford again. So for those that in the UK that would like obviously to attend, either let us know in the chat client, or what I could do is we've got one final poll, so let's just launch that. I do apologise, my colleague Sam is a big fan of Austin Powers, so I think that's possibly why we've got Yeah Baby there. But for those that would like more information, do let us know on the poll there, or do let us know either via the chat client. And I know Matt and his team are very keen to get back in contact and obviously make sure that those are full. So looks as though we're getting good answers on that. So
it's just a fabulous 4-day course. I mean, the guys are so smart, and they have so many war stories on Wi-Fi. And it's not just Ekahau training by any means. It's actual how to design Wi-Fi the right way just happens to be using our tools. So it's a phenomenal training. You'll love the presenter, you'll love the course. If you don't, I won't promise your money back.
So I know Keith and his team are fantastic, and we have some people that are very keen to get on the course. So it looks like 53% of you are looking to get onto an ECSC next year. So guys, thank you very much for your support and your patronage on those courses. I know they're very well thought of and very well attended. So Matt and his team will make sure that we respond to you with those dates and obviously the agendas and things like that. But no, thank you for that. Okay, well guys, I mean, I think that's us getting to the top of the hour. So any final thoughts before we wrap up today? Any comments before we stop today?
Final thoughts. Thank you everybody so much for joining. I know you all are busy, so much appreciate you taking 1 hour of your time to watch the webinar. And thank you Open Reality chaps for setting things up and hosting yet another great one. So I really do look forward to seeing you in London soon, or feel free to come over to Helsinki.
Well, we're still waiting for our invite for Iceland, but I'm guessing we've missed out on that one. But yeah, Helsinki will do.
Sounds good, man. Anytime.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. We've got the details there on the screen for anybody that would like to contact us. I'll get the account managers. Matt and his team will be in contact very shortly as well. Thanks, Jussi. Thanks, Mikko. Thanks, everybody. And we hope to speak to you all very soon. Thanks very much.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thanks guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.